Good morning, you guys. How's everybody doing? Having coffee. It's 4:15 in the morning. um, so I listed some journals last night, and I was too tired to make a video, so here we are. I've had a number of people ask if I ever make journals that are just, intended for writing in and that aren't necessarily filled with, book pages and images and that kind of stuff. And I had not, done that until, well, okay. So I thought that was, something, it's something I'd wanted to do for a long time. Anyway, so before I start rambling, so I've been purging quite a lot and just, basically clearing out tubs of stuff and drawers of stuff. And, I have this shelf. It's kind of this, like, it's like a Lazy Susan shelf, and I've had all my, like, field guides on it. And, so most of these I had already pulled pages out of and, used in journals and stuff. But, but the covers were just sitting there with, like half of the pages still in them. So I gutted the rest of them, and I gutted all of them completely. And I just love the covers, So I took, well, there's some larger ones too, but so I wound up with 6 of the smaller field guides. Some of them are thicker than others. These 2 happen to have 5 signatures. The rest of these smaller ones have 3. And then since these all came out pretty much like blue and green, right? I wanted to be able to offer some other colors. So I've had this book for quite a while, and I don't know, I just thought it was gorgeous. I paid up for this, but anyway, I just love how it was stitched back together at some point. I didn't do that. This is how I got it. But and I think it was done on a sewing machine, like an industrial sewing machine maybe. But anyway, so I left that stitching on there. The book was really actually falling apart, but and then I just had this. I don't know. It's just a really pretty little red book. The Tragedies of Sophocles. Anyway, so I pulled that one mostly because of the size. It was, pretty much the same as those. And then this is a book that I actually got from Patty. And I don't know, I just thought it had such a pretty image on the front, and I love the texture of the cover. So I did that one. And then also I had this book, which I thought is just such a pretty cover. Of course it's green, but it was the same size. It's a little larger actually, and a little bit thicker than any of these. So you'll see a price difference when you go to my shop with this one and this one and this one, and then the larger field guides. They're basically small, medium, and large is sort of how I split these out. So let me just do a flip through of, one of these, and I'll talk about the papers that I used a little bit. There's quite a variety of paper. I went through all of my, I have a whole bunch of ledger paper that I got from my neighbor across the street. Her husband had been an accountant when he was living, and he believed in more is more. And he was a paper hoarder, kind of like me, and I feel really lucky that I was able to acquire all of his paper stash. So that was pretty cool. Lots of different lots of different ledger papers. And then I went into some of my vintage ledgers and pulled paper from some of, some of the blank paper that's in those. And then I added just here and there a couple of little, pieces of ledger that's been written on. See, like right here. But, it wasn't a lot, and I thought, people appreciate that. And this is from a very, very old ledger. If you didn't like the writing, you could always gesso over that or something. But anyway, so after trimming pages to fit, a lot of them I folded, but for the most part I trimmed them to fit. I wound up with lots of scraps, and so I basically just used those scraps to stuff these journals, these smaller ones. The large ones, the big ones, I just put a whole bunch of stuff in a bag instead of putting it inside the journal. So you actually wind up with a whole bunch of stuff with the large ones. Anyway, and then just pulled some like repair tags and guest checks and things like that, things that were blank to fill these. So yeah, and I just grabbed anything that was good quality paper, and nice variety. So there's some Canson paper. This is actually charcoal paper. This is some really nice stationery that had a letterhead. Some onion skin paper, and this is some of the ledger paper from the neighbor. Let me zoom in a little bit. Oh, there we go. Okay. Stay in frame, Jessica. This is some resume paper. This is grid paper that I also got from the neighbor. And some stationery, like 70s, 80s stationery. Just a piece of that ledger. And I think I'm going to do a haul video here when I get done with this, because I have some ledgers that I want to show you guys, just because they make me happy. More stationery. This is mixed media paper. And then I did some envelopes here and there in the centers of some of the signatures. Just some shipping tags. Whoops, goes on the other side. So those are the repair tags, and then there's just the blank shipping tags. So and then black, I did a couple pieces of black paper, just because a lot of people like to write with like a gel pen or something like that, and some variety. So these are intended primarily for somebody who really likes to write, and I really enjoyed putting these together. I really did. Yeah, so this is ledger paper from a huge ledger that I'm going to show you in that haul video. This is just some craft cardstock. This is a page from a photo album, or like a scrapbook, an old scrapbook. Some rice paper, really thin, really nice rice paper. This paper is actually, I have a package of these huge like triangles, and they're intended for like if you go to like a place at the fair and you get like French fries or something. It's like that grease-proof paper. Anyway, so I try to use it sometimes and kind of cut it down to where it'll fit. And then I took some of the end papers that were in some of these field guides and just put them in some of the pockets. There weren't a ton, obviously, so I think I used one in each book. And then some larger grid paper and some, this is the other side of that grease-proof paper. They call it like a quadrille, this pattern or whatever, I think. I don't know. See, so just some scraps of ledger. And then, oh, I used some pieces from the record album sleeves. And so it's just this really nice, like, craft paper. Just cut those down. I love making little, like, pamphlets with those. Sorry, guys. I know I got to keep an eye on the screen, too. This is some letterhead from the city of Pullman. It's just interesting. Pullman, Washington. It's where Washington State University is. And I go down there every once in a while. There's a really nice bookstore there I like to visit. And there's a guy that does estate sales down there that sometimes I work with him. Some more ledger. And then, yeah, more ledger. I have an old calendar. It's like from 1964 or something like that. It's like a little planner type book. Pulled some pages from that. So you get the idea. It just kind of repeats from there. You know, where I had larger pieces, I folded some of them. And I did not stitch. I think a couple of them, I started like stitching these into pockets. And then I realized, you know, I don't need to do that. Like, I don't know, I was trying to make these into junk journals, and I guess they kind of are junk journals because a lot of the paper is, you know, upcycled, repurposed paper. But, you know, I had a hard time not doing what I normally do. So, you know, restraining myself. I just wanted to fill these with a good variety of paper that people could write on. So, oh, these got all paper clipped together. Oh well. And some guest checks. Yeah, some paper bags, that kind of stuff. So there's lots and lots of paper in here. Lots of good writing space. And very sturdy little books. I did, I lined the inside of this. I love these. They have this ruler on them. Some of them do. You know, I guess maybe this is the only one that does. Anyway, so I lined the inside of the cover with some fabric, some like heavy canvas, and then I actually ran it through my sewing machine on the spine a couple times. I left the stitching kind of exposed on the spine just because I thought it looked kind of cool. I was going to leave it long, and, you know, I thought maybe you could put some beads or something on it if you wanted to. But, you know, if you're writing in this a lot, you really don't want to have beads and charms and stuff underneath the book. So I wound up just trimming them off. And so yeah, that's why I didn't do buttons or anything on the spine. But I just kind of like showing the knots on the spine. So... And then I just did a couple of little charms with an eyelet. Each one has a key, some kind of key. And then I did the ball chain closure. So some of them I did like a little extender on there. So, yeah. So if, you know, if you wind up taking stuff out of this, you could take off that little extender. Or if you add more, you know, you can always add an extension onto your ball chain too, on any of the other ones that don't already have an extender on them. So anyway, so this one is number 5. And then this one is a little bit older, different, you know, that's a wildflower. This is a bird book. So where the spine was like cracked or something like that, I actually did fabric on the outside too, just to maintain the integrity of the book, you know. So this is number 8. It's a little bit like more green. This one's more turquoise. This one's more green. And this one is a much older version of that book. No, it's not that book. It's a different one. But, you know, it's the same publisher. So, and this is this is number 6. So these all have 3 signatures, right around probably 150 pages or so. Here's another one, Field Guide to the Birds. Yeah, so this is the same book, just 2 different years. This one's more of a bright turquoise color. And then, so this is one of the thicker ones. This one has 5 signatures. Still did the stitching on the spine. And this one is pretty, this one's pretty packed. I, you know, just paper clipped some extra stuff into some of these too. So, yeah. So I'm pretty happy with these, the way they came out. They feel so nice in your hands, and the spine is somewhat flexible and soft. So, you know, they just, I don't know, like, I think they just feel really good. Yeah, and this is such a great size, I think. You could just tuck this into your bag or whatever. Oh, sorry, I'm not telling the numbers. This one's number 2. This is number 1 in my shop. And then this red one, and I didn't treat the covers or anything. I didn't, you know, do book corners or anything. These were all in pretty good shape, so I didn't really need to do that. This is number 10. And then this one, you know, they're all the same inside, so I'm not going to worry about opening it up. It's number 4. This one has an extra row of stitching. There's the back. And then this guy is number 9. Okay. There's the back of that one. There's a little bit of discoloration and character. This one, the corners probably could use some TLC, but, you know, it's an old book. It's going to show some character and some wear. This is number 3. This one is another one of the medium size, so it's 5 signatures. Okay, so those are the small and medium writing journals. And I have a little freebie that I want to do with each of these because I love you, but also because I just want to see how you guys like them. Excuse me. So I did a bunch of these little tabs. I think I showed these to you guys before, but I kind of went crazy cutting little mini tabs. So I'm going to add a dozen little mini size paper tabs, because I didn't want to put tabs on pages in these, because I don't know where you want to have your tabs. You know, everybody, it's like, you know, however you want to organize your book, that's where you want your tabs. And I didn't want to dictate that by putting the tabs on myself. So I'm just going to randomly, you know, toss in a dozen of these little tabs. So there's 7 different styles, I think, or there's 3 or 4 different styles. And then there's a couple different sizes of each style. So yeah, I know you guys can't see because of the glare, but so, like, let me show you real quick. So this is the same style as this one, just different sizes, right? And then I have this in it. This is like half size. This is like small size. So I have this in a larger size too. I mean, I can resize it to whatever size I want, but I thought, you know, those were cute. So I like these little tiny ones. So I will just toss in a dozen little tabs with each one of these journals. And, you know, you guys just let me know how you like them. And I did them all in craft paper, just for simplicity at this point. So I might wind up doing them on different kinds of paper or something. I don't know. But, okay, so let's look at these bigger ones. Again, I had some field guides that I tried to use. Well, at least one was a field guide. There's a couple. And so, yeah, and I love the colors. So you got a nice variety of colors. So some of these are 5 signatures. Some are 3, but they're all the same number of pages. Okay. So this first one, Chronicles of the Garden, it's just such a pretty book. This is actually purple. It's kind of a maroon type of kind of purple color. And I didn't add all the stuff in these. Okay. The only thing I added in was like a writing board, that I collaged. So, you know, you wouldn't want to necessarily write on this side, but you could use this side, behind your writing if you wanted something, you know, behind your page. So you might have to move it or something, but I wanted to include something, you know, some collaged something or other. So, and then these are really old paper clips that I've pulled off of different ephemera and stuff that I've come across, and I just keep tossing them into this little can. And so I pulled some of those really cool old paper clips out and used a couple in each of these. And then I just added a couple of other paper clips just on this front page that you can use wherever. So, you know, it's basically the same papers as in the smaller ones, just, you know, bigger. And I didn't use a lot of like real small pieces. I wanted to, you know, give you as much writing space as possible by using larger pieces. So you're not going to have a ton of real small, odd shaped pages, you know. Yeah, so these have, like, there's a paper bag in these, so you could use that to write on, or you could just tuck some notes in there and stuff too. And also, I wanted you to be able to put your tabs on wherever you want. So that's part of the reason that I wanted to have most of the pages extend out a little bit further. So you should be okay with the little mini ones not sticking out past the cover. But, yeah, just watch out for that, is all I'm saying. And you could, you know, just staple the tabs on, or you could even, I mean, if you were careful, you could even stitch them after you glue them on. But yeah, lots and lots of writing space. So those of you that are journalers and are really into journaling, or, you know, you could even use this as an art journal, I suppose, if you wanted to, or a glue book or something like that. But, yeah. So, yeah, I've had some requests to do some just writing journals. And, you know, people have asked with the junk journals, so how do you write on it? Like, if there's pictures and stuff, you know. So these are, like, ready to go. You don't have to do anything to be able to write on them. And I did the ball chain closure again. So this is, you know, through an eyelet on the back and a nice big jump ring. And I do the jump ring just to make sure that this kind of sits correctly. And then I just did a couple of charms on here. These are some charms that I did on live stream one night. Just some bead charms. So little button charms, stuff like that. And again, exposed the knotting on the stitching. So, okay. So this is number 1 in my shop. And oh, and I want to show you the bags, the bag of stuff that you're going to get with these too. So you'll also get the bag of tabs, the dozen tabs, and then all of the paper add-ins separately. So this is the encyclopedia, the Illustrated Encyclopedia of American Birds. And this is number 2. Okay. So this is the paper clip charm. There's another little tiny one right there. So, oh, I guess I could just open it, right? There you go. There's a little button on this one. Oh, these are envelopes. So there's some magnetized little flap on there. And this, so to take this off, right, I mean, obviously, it's not rocket science, but you do have to press that down, kind of, to open it. Yeah, so here's the writing board for this one. And then this is number 5. This one was The Art of Botanical Illustration. And I used pages from this book in the red marbled journals that I sold a couple weeks ago. And, just a couple little pretty little charms on here. Oh, there's the back. They're pretty plain. They're pretty basic, right? This is number 4. This one was a library book, and I just left the library pocket in there and stuck a tab in it. And then here's the writing board for this one. A couple little paper clips and stuff. And there's a lot of pictures in the listings too. So this is the history of Gibraltar. I just thought it was cool because it had been a library book and it was kind of odd, you know. And then this is one of my favorite books ever. This is a cover from Garden Flowers in Color. And this is one of the older ones. It's like 1943 or 44, I think. But it's got that really pretty embossed flower image on the front. This one's 3 signatures. Nice texture too on the cover. I don't know if you can see. It's just a really pretty book. And I used almost every page out of these, this particular book. This is actually a pocket. So if you get this one, this is a pocket. Okay. Excuse me, guys. And a couple little charms on here too. Okay. So this is number 3. And then let me just show you real quick. Each of those larger journals is going to have one of these. I love these bags. These are from Hobby Lobby. Aren't those cool? I'm going to get more of those. I love them. They only had 1 package when I was there last time, so I only got 1 pack. And they were half price. So this is the... Whoops. Some of it didn't come out. So this is the stuff you're going to get with the large journals. Like I said, it's just a bunch of scraps of ledger paper and, you know, this is from the record albums, and just tons of different little scraps of ledger. And some pages. Oh, there's a piece of rice paper in here too. And then some pages from that calendar. This is just that really nice stationer, or it's printer paper, but it's like a cotton rag paper, and some cream color cards, or printer paper. Another piece of ledger. A couple pages out of a little notebook, old notebook from the like 40s. This is another piece from a scrapbook, and then some old school, you know, computer printer paper. So just a bag of papers that I would have, you know, tucked into pockets and stuff in there, but I don't know. I kind of like the idea of, you know, you doing that on your own and, you know, putting stuff where you want it. So yeah, so you get like a nice fat little bag of papers and a cool envelope. I love these. So yeah, so each one of those gets a bag of paper. So these are already listed. Like I said, I got them up last night, and I do still have the free shipping option or offer in my shop. And yeah, so get them while they're hot, you guys. And yeah, and then here's the smaller ones. Okay, all right, you guys, I love you. Take care. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great weekend coming up. Okay, bye for now.